What's going on, everybody? Aidan from Birds vs. Boys here, and the Eagles are 3-0 after their victory on Monday Night Football over the Buccaneers 25-11. Was it ugly? Was it dominant? That's the question that's being asked, or was it somewhere in the middle where they dominated in an ugly fashion? So the Eagles come out, and it looks a little sloppy to start, and they get stopped on 4th and 2, and you're saying, uh-oh, are we going to repeat what was going on up in the rain and in the cold in New England week 1? Or last week against the Vikings where they were kind of getting stalled and Jalen Hurts was taking a lot of hits. Would it be again like that? But no, they did a lot of what we thought that they were going to do, which was lean on their running game early to set up the pass. You even saw that in the first drive, which was a little frustrating. It's funny because I was complaining about the 4th and 2 play and how, you know, they ran the ball, but I didn't love the play call. But we saw exactly what we thought we were going to saw from them early. It was running to set up the pass and to set up a few A.J. Brown catches, 2 receptions for 44 yards on that first drive. And I think even though they didn't score, that set the tone for the day. So we'll get into all of that, but I think we'll just go with the themes, and one of those themes being run to set up the pass. We saw it early on that drive. They didn't get points there, but they would come back to it quite often, especially to start the second half. The second half was a 6-yard drive. It featured a run with DeAndre Swift where there is not a defender in sight until he hurdles one. He had 8.1 yards per carry tonight on 127 yards rushing total and just 16 carries. He got 16. Kenny Gainwell got 14, 30 total. They had 201 yards rushing. It's another week of over 200 yards rushing. They just continue to dominate. In the trenches, their offensive line leans on you, and by the second half, you're quite tired, and it's quite awful to deal with. And you saw that early in the game, the defense gets off the field. That means the opposing defense has to be on the field all the time, and the Eagles have these long drives where you just can't seem to get off the field. That turned into a touchdown on the tush push that everyone is so concerned about, but yet you know that you can do it as well. So the use of Swift and the use of the run game to set up the pass was pretty cool because it just feels like DeAndre Swift. I saw a video. Somebody was criticizing his visibility, which was just so funny because it came after a 120 or 178 yard performance last week. I thought his vision and just the way that he performs fits this team so well. He uses his burst. It feels like he hits the line and goes. And the way that this offensive line creates gaps, well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty hard to tackle a guy who has that burst and hits the second level that fast. But that's how it felt. It felt like he was getting 7-8 yards before, not total, before he was even touched, before somebody had the ability to make a move and be able to tackle him. It's just, again, what a weapon for them to have picked up. I will not understand the Lions move where they gave him away for a 7th-round pick swap, then used the 1st-round pick on Jahmyr Gibbs, who they didn't really use that well yesterday, and then signed David Montgomery in free agency. We're going to get to other dumb moves that teams have made when we talk about the defense. Oh, I wonder where we're going to go with that one. But for the offense, I think the DeAndre Swift thing, I liked the final drive because I really like when the Eagles keep it simple. Again, there were moments from like, you don't need that there. The deep shot to Devontae Smith, that was an interception. You didn't need it. You were getting 7 to 8 yards of carry. Make them stop you first. What they did on that final drive and why I really like this Eagles team, why I'll put them up against anybody. If you think the Dolphins are better, if you think the 49ers are better right now, that's fine. I'm not going to argue on that because I think this is a work in progress. But what I see from this team when there is any pushback from an opposing team, their ability to go on these gut-wrenching drives that rip your heart out and last 8-9 minutes to seal a game, they are the best in the league at it because they have the best offensive line. They get behind them, they lean on defenses, everything turns into 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3, and then it sets up Jalen Hurts to get the ball to his playmakers. It was simple. It was run on 1st down, get into 2nd and 4. Oh, if it's a 3rd down, it's going to be 3rd and short. And then you have to say to yourself, are they going to run it? And if they do, is that just going to set up 4th and inches where they do this tush push and we can't stop it anyway? They were a lot of man beaters on that final drive. So they played up on the line trying to stop the run. All right, well, that's 11 yards to Dallas Goedert on the reception. Oh, you're playing up on the line. All right, that's 25 to A.J. Brown. Oh, we would need a little 3rd and 3 action. All right, bubble screen to Devontae Smith. You convert. And the final play to A.J. Brown. A quick slant when everybody's boxed in, thinking 3rd and 3. Oh, are they going to run it again? They ran it 2 straight times to Kenny Gainwell. No, They're not. It's A.J. Brown, 9 receptions, 131 yards. It was simple. It was running to set up the pass. They couldn't stop the run. You would do it on first and second and set up these easy third and manageable where you're like, Hurts can hurt you with his arm. He can hurt you with his legs. He can get it to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Are they just going to run it? It's just too many options to pick your poison situation. Best of luck. We're Phillies fever, red October. It feels to me like the Jose Alvarado thing where he's like, strike one, strike two, and good luck. That's how it feels late in the game with the Eagles. The Bucs scored. There was 9:22 left on the clock. They never saw the ball again. Got their playmakers involved. We'll touch on A.J. Brown because I want to switch over to the defense. They were so dominant. 9 receptions for 131 yards. I said this last week. If you had a problem with that sideline scuffle or kerfuffle or whatever you want to call it, you never played sports past T-ball. And it showed if you had a problem with that. And you probably would not have seen this performance coming where he went for 9 receptions, 131 yards. He probably should have had 2 different touchdowns. There was a quick slant that they missed him and hit off his hands. The second one, this is the thing. If he catches this ball on first down, it was the drive where they had the tush push that they faked. I've been waiting for them to break that out. This probably wasn't the moment to do it when you're up 22-3 in the fourth quarter against the Bucs in week 3, but they did. He gets a trip. But you're saying to yourself, if A.J. Brown catches that ball in the corner on that drive, they probably win this game 32-11. They win by 3 touchdowns. And nobody's saying, oh, well, was it ugly? No, it was pretty solid. Like they probably just win by 3 touchdowns, just like you expected and how it felt. I think the score was a lot closer than than how the game went. They win by 2 touchdowns. It felt like they were up 4 the entire time. Like when it was 25-3 and the Bucs scored, there was never any stress. And this whole week leading up to this game, I really haven't felt that stress. Even with the Bucs being 2-0, a lot of it is going to come with the defense, which I'm about to talk about. But there is something to be said about the dominance of the Eagles, and we could talk about it all we want. But at the end of the day, they have these long sustained drives where they win. Jalen Hurts is 20-1 in his last 21 starts. And just when it comes down to it, when you look at the stats, I think a lot of people are going to look at the final score and say, 25-11, it was somewhat close. 76 plays, 464 yards, and 37 minutes of time possession. They gave up 174 yards total. Rachaad White had 38 yards on the ground total. They had 41 yards rushing. They had almost as many rushing yards as they did plays. They sacked Baker Mayfield twice. It felt like they sacked him 12 times with the amount of pressure that they got onto him. They had 6 tackles for loss. The Bucs had the ball in 101-degree real feel heat for just 20 minutes. And the stats, they absolutely dominated. At the end of the day, there are 1, 2, 3 plays, a pick by Jalen Hurts in the corner to Devontae Smith, a drop touchdown by A.J. Brown, the fake tush push where Jalen Hurts tripped. If you the blitz where he was on the wrong page with his running back that turned it into an interception, 1, 2, 3 plays here, they probably win by 4 touchdowns. They absolutely dominated. Now, speaking of absolutely dominated, over to the defense. This is very simple. The Bucs wanted to establish the run early to alleviate pressure from Baker Mayfield. What happened instead? They were constantly in second 11. They were constantly in second and 12. The Georgia guys, I will not stop doing this. I will do it every week until someone can stop Jalen Carter. 9 teams are so freaking dumb. It's insane. Everyone is getting on the Bears, and rightfully so. They've had a terrible week. They've broken Justin Fields. They're in a federal investigation. They fired their defensive coordinator, and there's a homecoming team to play when Taylor Swift shows up. They traded and should have drafted Jalen Carter. The other 8 teams or 9 teams that had the opportunity need to also atone for their sins. Aside from like the Houston Texans, who was CJ Stroud, who I really like and has been playing well, anybody else, how are you dealing and coping right now with the fact that you didn't draft Jalen Carter? I get the character concerns, but you just look at the talent level. Man, those 2 plays back to back. He takes on the double team. Fletcher Cox is left 1-on-1. They both get to the quarterback, record half a sack late there in the first half. The following play punches the ball out of Rachaad White, and that's a play where it's like people questioned his heart, his not his talent, but more so just like his heart and character and everything like that. And there he's pursuing the ball and forcing a fumble, which is just pure hustle. So again, 9 teams, not just the Bears, need to be asking themselves, why the hell did we not draft Jalen Carter? And all night, it was the whole front four where they just could not get anything going on the running game. Like we talked about, 41 rushing yards total. It set them up and being in terrible positions, putting a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield, making him have to sling the ball back into the game. They started with 3 punts. They had one real drive, and it was mostly Mike Evans, which is ironic because he is the one source of their firepower, it feels like. And the Eagles took advantage of that. They tried to target Josh Jobe. It worked a little bit, and we'll see. Like, if they played the Dolphins, would it work worse? Like, would it be worse for the Eagles if Josh Jobe was getting targeted nonstop? I feel like, yeah, but I don't think anyone can stop the Dolphins right now. So was there a little bit of targeting on Josh Jobe? Maybe a little bit, but for the most part, this defense just absolutely dominated to the point that it didn't matter. It just didn't matter. It's just certain guys just constantly make plays. Reed Blankenship is another one. We're talking about the Georgia guys who are constantly making plays. Jordan Davis, multiple tackles for loss. Again, him and Carter on that safety just blow everything up. Zach Cunningham comes in, and Nicholas Morrow both made plays. But Reed Blankenship kind of sticks out because he goes under the radar. The 6th-round pick, not from Georgia. Interception, tackle for loss. It just feels like he makes 1 or 2 plays a game, and it is really nice on that back end of the defense where, it's been kind of a question mark. Justin Evans gets hurt. Terrell Edmonds comes in. They're kind of both trying to make up for the gap that CJ Gardner left behind. And it's just been like nonstop while he's in, like, just getting those reinforcements of Bradbury, Blankenship back. You just saw tonight, like, they have these guys on defense who all of them make 1 or 2 plays a game where you're just like, all right, this defense is really freaking solid. And they're going to go into a game next week against the Commanders, who will be in a similar situation. They're going to want to establish Brian Robinson Jr. on first down, alleviate the pressure from Sam Howell. And if the Eagles have a performance like this, it's just flat out not going to work. It's just not going to work, and it doesn't. And they've done a good job. I think Sean Desai has been really good so far, where they can get pressure with their front four. They bring the linebackers sometimes. It just felt like they had a very good pulse on the game of what they wanted to do and how they could defeat Baker Mayfield and put him in bad positions. They had a great pulse on that. If you had a problem with the offense right now, at times it feels like they don't have the pulse. They were getting 7 yards a clip and then passed the ball 6 straight times. It's like you're not quite there in terms of flow and feel in the game. The defense, on the other hand, I feel like has really good feel. So I'm really happy with where they're at. I thought that was just a phenomenal performance. Again, they had 2 sacks. It felt like 12. Nolan Smith with the huge hit on Baker Mayfield. All of the Georgia guys played so well. Hassan Reddick is the guy that they need to get going. Hopefully that's next week. You didn't hear his name called at all tonight. No sacks, no pressures, anything like that. It's pretty remarkable the performance they've been able to turn in with their leading sack getter from a year ago, not having recorded a single one, and really not even getting many pressures or hurries or hits or anything like that. So I thought it was just a fun performance. Like, it was just fun. There's part of you where when they threw the interception and the Bucs got the ball at the 1 yard, then you're like, that sucks that they threw a pick. But I kind of want to see how this goes at the 1 yard line. I kind of have a feeling and a sense of how it's going to go. And yeah, it went exactly like that and turned into a safety, and they got the ball right back. When Jalen Hurts threw the interception, what did they do? Got the ball right back. It just seems like they had an answer for everything tonight. Threw haymakers nonstop and knocked out the Bucs offense. It was phenomenal. And another thing that I want to touch on before we get out of here, because again, the theme has been, is it ugly? Are they playing good football? Or did they just totally dominate the Buccaneers? Or is it somewhere in between? You saw this week, this show is called Birds vs. Boys, right? The Cowboys have been dominant on defense so far. They lost to the Cardinals. They looked lost at times. The Cardinals ran the ball down their throat. The Ravens, a team that I'm high on, they start 2-0. They lose to the Colts at home. They had a lead in the 4th quarter. They blew it. They had the ball on offense in overtime, didn't score. They lost the game. It's the consistency week after week. And the Eagles, as they started 2-0, but people say they're not there yet. But they win again. They take care of business again. And when it comes down to it, they go on a 9-minute, 22-second drive that ends the game, and the other team never sees the ball again. They take care of business no matter what. The consistency is what I am proud of in this football team. It goes back to last year. They'd have these 7-8 minute drives to seal it. They'd get a stop when they need to. And it's been that way so far again this year. And that's why that they are 3-0. And when you look at how they got the 3-0, yeah, I'd like better red zone efficiency. I'd like to see the conversion on 4th and 2. I'd like to see A.J. Brown pull that ball in the end zone so that you're not settling for 3 and you're getting 7 instead. But in week 1, they were up 16-0. Last week, they were up 27-7 in the 4th quarter. This week, they were up 25-3 in the 4th quarter. All of this ugly play, if this is ugly, look out. because they have been dominant in different stretches so far in 3 weeks with double-digit leads in each game and double-digit leads in 2 of the 3 games in the fourth quarter, multi-touchdown leads. If this is ugly, if there's stuff to be worked on, the league better pray that they don't figure it out. I believe that they will because I believe in Jalen Hurts in this offense. But man, if this isn't the finished project, I can't wait to see it because it's been pretty dominant. And I'm pretty happy with how it went tonight. And I just loved what was an all-time defensive performance. And it's even better when it's on Rondé Barber Hall of Fame enshrinement night. So that's it. We'll be back this week again. Kevin's team lost to the Cardinals. That's a rough one. We'll talk about that a lot. 2 more games coming up this week, week 4, and the Eagles have a home game against the Commanders. Can't look past that one because we know who ended the undefeated season last year. It was those Commanders. We'll get into all that. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe and follow on our TikTok. We've been trying to go live at halftime, after the game, everything like that. And anywhere podcasts are found, you can find these and follow us on Twitter as well at Birds vs. Boys Pod. And we'll talk to you later this week.